to start like the property comic and moving into doing those kind of events, it's just finding that niche of not only will the event work, but are people gonna pay for the merger and really understand it?
I promise you. I'm gonna make it happen.
You got this on tape.
100%.
Take this back.
Yeah.
Anyway, today, welcome to a brand new podcast, the Property by Kazy podcast, episode 1. Today, we have our first, very special guest, formerly known as Mr. Axel The Comedian, but now you are, sir,
the property comic.
So we're going to be talking all things property, how we got into property, how we pivoted from, you know, the comedian space into getting into property, investments. Investments started 2013? 14.
Yeah.
So still quite a while. That's 7 years now. You've got some skin in the game.
Here and there.
Okay. But before we get into what you're doing now, or I mean, you're still doing both.
Yeah.
Where did your journey start first, like as a comedian? Where did that start?
As a comedian, where did it start?
Because I've seen you from like something for Sunday, Kazy show, like the old Strawberry Moon events, like that was.
I've been a comedian since 2009.
Yeah,
so it was like 11.
That's probably because I was at university then. So that's the kind of times I was thinking.
Started, and I loved it. Because I was on the roads with my friends and like, I thought, what the hell am I doing? Like, I just ran the wrong people.
Where you Warmsing from?
Where was we? Oh, is my microphone?
The mics are on, we're good, we're live, we're back. Are you refreshed?
I'm refreshed, I feel good. That Nando's was nice.
That Nando's sweet.
That Nando's was nice.
See, look, that Nando's is coming and they're not even paying us. They're not even paying us. Back. Are you refreshed?
I'm refreshed. I feel good. That Nando's was nice.
That Nando's sweet.
That Nando's was nice.
See, look, that Nando's is coming and they're not even paying us. They're not even paying us. This is a great time, great opportunity for an ad break.
Yes.
Potential sponsors right here. But until you pay us, let's forget it. Well, it might have even been Burger King because we're not, right now, 2021, where is the bag? Live.
I had a new burger. It was a sunset one. I never had that before.
No, they're good.
Yeah,
they're
this
good.
is the first time. So
sometimes though, you gotta manage how much of the sauce they get. Because the sauce can be a bit
sauce was a lot still.
It's a lot. Yeah. But that's good.
We got there.
But before Nando's came, before you were refreshed, we were talking about how you got into comedy.
Yes. So it's what 2009. That's when I first started. I was around the wrong people. You know, I was just up to no good, and then unfortunately I went inside actually prison, and then I said to myself, this needs to change. So then after that I came out, and then I don't know why I went to a comedy show, or I can't remember why I went, because I had never heard a comedy show before that. I just raves and you know what I mean. That was just and then something I can't remember.
How old were you then? You're my age, right?
I'm 33.
Yeah, okay. But like, yes, I think I went through that transition as well, where it's like you needed something else.
Yeah.
And I think that happens to a lot in life, and it leads well onto property. But you need something else. Like that, you've been to the clubs.
Yeah.
There's only so many clubs I can go to. There's only so many house parties, and it was like, so for us, like I said, that Kazy show, something for Sunday, all of those Sunday show events. Like it was. I don't even know if we necessarily went for comedy. It was just let's go to something where it's for us. By us, but it's not a club.
Yeah.
But they're still mingling.
But by then, I had already been established. But so before that, I don't know what made me go to this. It was in Hackney Empire. It's a big show, and I remember just being like, wow, I'll never forget it. And I just decided I'm gonna try this, because I've been like that. I'm always like, I've never been a quite office kind of person. I've been a mechanic, and then a junior chef, and bus driver, and that's the jobs I'm very.
You know what that reminds me of? Yeah, you know that comedy skit of the guy is like, yeah, I'm gonna try the bus driver thing, and then I'm gonna try. Have you not seen it? And he's like basically, all the like the go-to jobs,
the
like
the
train, you know what I mean?
What's it, personal trainer? And But I've never. I just said to myself, let me. I've just been hands-on like that. So a mechanic, that was another thing I was. So as you can see, it's just those kind of jobs. And then I tried the comedy and I loved it. And I just kept at it. And now I suppose you could say I'm established at the comedy scene.
That's good. But then say it wasn't, because that was 2009.
That was 2009. By 2013, I was like I'm here, innit?
Okay, then, because you was here, you had some bank.
Yeah.
And then you took that bank 2014.
Yeah. So by 2014, I had purchased. But what happened is my partner, she's very clued up. She's an accountant. Was an accountant. We're both like financially free now. But at the time, she was an accountant, and she told me to get my ducks in order. Like when we got like more serious, she just looked into the finances and like, you're a mess.
That's super important, because I hear so many stories of people that are literally like cash rich, but their setup is so bad. Like their credit is so bad. Their tax bills are they're unknown because they've just been, I just send my invoice and I get paid. This person pays me in cash, and I think having the right people around you, be it a partner, friend, family member, parent, is often key, because these things are not taught in school. There's no one that turns around and tells you, okay, what the process is like to be able to buy a house or to be able to even rent a flat sometimes.
It's true. That, you're right. When I think about that moment, that pivotal moment was so important to me, because it changed everything. It changed the way I see the world and the importance of money, the importance of credit. It's so important, you know?
Because you could be doing well in terms of, okay, I'm successful, like people are wanting to book me, that I'm getting paid well, but in life you could not be doing well because you can't elevate, because you can't buy a house. You can't use the money you've got to to leverage how much you can buy and how successful you can be.
So when I got everything in order, what happened is she had bought a house and I was like, what? I didn't even know it was possible, until I saw the house. And I thought, right, like, I can't remember how old she was at the time, 20-something. And I was just blown away. And then she was like, we need to get our ducks in order. Come on, like, and then I was like, we're doing this. And I just got credit right, everything right. And
how long did that process take?
I think a good year or so, because I had to learn how to save. There's a technique to save, and everyone's got their ways of saving, but people don't teach people how to save. That's where it starts. Because you need to know how to save and budget. And
when people talk about, I want to invest or I want to make more money, sometimes one of the best ways to make money is to reduce your expenses. Like, for those that are good at it, they will have annually, they'll do a review. It'll be penciled in their diary every year, direct debit review. Like, because Sky, as an example, you set up our contract, great opening offer, £45 a month. By the time you're into that 12-month contract, £106. You take that over the year, that's £600 that you can no longer save. And if you do that across all of your direct debits, you can save a lot of money. But for those that are interested in saving, I think one thing that I've learned, and I always tell people, is that if you want to save money, it's like the idea of running a race. Like, you have to know, you have to have an end goal. If you don't have an end goal, it's very easy to give up. Because if you've ever tried to run a distance, run 3K, and in your ear you hear your whatever app you're using saying 1K, the split, this is how far you've done. Okay, I'm a third of the way there. Another one, I'm 2/3 of the way there. But if you've just got no distance and you're just running, you'll give up way quicker than if you have a goal. So I definitely say, even if you smash it and then go and put a new goal in place, if you want to start saving, set that saving goal, work out where you can save money, where's realistic, and that's one of the best ways to actually start making money, is to start saving.
Saving is so crucial, and there's different techniques, different ways, I realized quickly that having cash around me is not I'd spend it quicker. I like money in my account. So even if I was to buy something, I prefer to just buy it on my card instead of taking the money out and I'll take a bit more because I might need it for petrol. Not everything just card. That's just how it works for me.
But that's the other thing. You have to realize what works for you. Because for me, when I'm just tapping on my phone, I'm just tapping.
Is it? You just I'm
just tapping away. Then I see my statement at the end of the month. I'm like, hey, who's this? But so I think what worked for me when I was first saving is I took saving the same way I take spending. Because I know I can be financially irresponsible when it comes to spending. Say I wanted to save £600 a month. First of the month, I take out that £600. Then my direct debits come out. Yeah. So whatever I spend in, like, it's my money to spend. I can spend it without feeling guilty because I've already done the saving. So if you save first, spend second. If you're not maybe as responsible to actually be able to like look after the pounds and the pennies, it's a good way to do it as well.
Yeah, she got rid of everything. So even to this day, I don't own no credit card. Like no credit card, even the subscriptions. I remember she would go on to, she checked all subscriptions, all of them, every single one. And because sometimes, as you said, sometimes they jump up in price. But then when you come off or cancel it and go to another one, because usually what happens when you go to a subscription, the first year is always the best.
Always the best deal.
Yeah. And
which is weird as well.
She'd utilize that. She'd remember. She got all in the calendars, and so she'd know this one's coming out. Cancel. I'm leaving. Sometimes I'll be like, no.
Stay. You get the deal. But if you don't do that, and I think a lot of these skill sets, as you develop in your career, like whether that be property or anything else, the concept of being organized, the concept of negotiation. And knowing at which point you can negotiate, because there's no point negotiating mid-contract when you've got no leg to stand on. You put that date in the diary for the date that I can leave. So you're gonna have to bring the readies down, or I'm leaving. And I think having that as a mentality is gonna aid any future business vocation you want to get into.
And budgeting, I had to learn that as well. So, so when that all happened, then I realized that once I cleared everything up, sorted myself out, understood the pattern, understood my way of saving. I then said, you know what? We got enough here and let's buy a place. And bought a place, and it was this. Looking back now, the first place is the most important, and I know you've said that before, but it's also the most scariest because it's like, am I doing it right? Is this the right one? Yeah, I've done the numbers, but you're doubting yourself and you're wondering this. And when you look online, there's always something that
How many properties do you think? How long were you looking at property before you bought your first one?
I couldn't tell you, but months though.
But you were looking for. You was in it.
What?
So, do you not think when you're first looking at property, Rightmove's addictive. Like when you're lying in bed at night,
like
last thing you
media.
do before you go to sleep, you're just looking. You know, you might not even call any of them, but you're just looking. Ooh.
And you know what's funny? You start recognizing the houses. Like, I've seen that one. So you don't even read it because you've seen that one so many times. You scroll through, like, okay, that, and then you notice a new one straight away. But we'd be looking. I remember literally you'd think we was on Instagram or something. But
the way you scroll, you're just swiping through. And I know it. You're even changing the parameters. You're like, oh, imagine we had double the amount of money. So you'd have your sort of productive looking while I'm looking for something to buy. And then you'd have you looking as if you was like, remember when you was a kid with the Argos catalogue and you tell yourself, oh, imagine I had £500.
I still do this.
In the Argos catalogue?
No, not the Argos.
He's got the last version of the Argos catalogue from 2018.
I still do it, but with the Rightmove, Zoopla,
yeah, no, I think with that, I do that, and it's like that idea of like positive affirmation of what you want to get. So I'm gonna go and look at the place that must have swimming pool because I want to see that. Okay, like, so how much do I have to make? What do I have to do? But also almost turn it semi-tangible. Like, okay, so if right now I've got a portfolio of this size, pay me this amount. If I work out what a mortgage costs with this level of deposit, then I know that I could buy a house for this amount. You see, I'm just saying loads of this is because people keep trying to work out your net worth.
Always.
That's a weird thing in property, you know.
Do you know, like, I think it's just, I think a lot of people, when they hear property, they just associate with, I don't know, you've got money, you've got so much money.
Do you know what? No, even beyond that, it's like you're expected to be so transparent because I guess it's really easy numbers. If you can add and take away, you can work out how much money somebody made within reason. So, like, say for example, you post a flat that you've just bought. Someone will say, oh, what'd you buy it for? What was the refurb cost? How much you sell it for? And like, oh, so you made 110,000. But like, there's no other business where you go into somebody, like, you're doing a show and someone goes, how much you charge for tickets? How many did you sell? What's your overheads? Like,
it's a weird one. And it's true, you know. It's that people are very forward and they want to know your bit. I don't know. And some people will just give out the information calm.
I think now I've got to, like, if someone says, oh, like, what's your worth? Or how, what's your, it's like, it changes. But like, in terms of if it's individual properties, I guess that's what it's all about, because you know what I mean, you need to understand. I get it. It's not like, a lot of the time, it's not just people being nosy. It's like, I want to understand what a refurb costs, because I want to do one myself similar. It's true. That's why I was there.
But some of the questions, you can tell by when some people ask you some questions, it's like, oh, okay, you don't really know.
Yeah, or just, there's some questions like, where it's just someone's like, I want to work at how much money you made. And there's some questions where it's more down to, okay, like, I like it. How much would it cost for me to do something similar? And you kind of can just gauge on feeling.
I remember I used to, when I first started out, I asked this guy that was doing property, and I said, how many have you got? But I see now that's the wrong question, because it's not about how many. It's not about how many you got. It's, at all. You can have
like my thing about that is, whatever I tell you, if you ask me that question, how many properties do I have? What do you get out of my response?
Yeah, nothing. I don't. You just
like, there's no value in it for you.
There's no value in it.
You know something about me, but it's literally no value. Or you know, you'd be way better if you kind of say, oh, like, how long did it take you to get to 5 properties? You can engage that, because otherwise all you're really doing is saying, oh, do you have more money than me? Like, how many have you got?
But that's what I think a lot of the questions are at first, and when someone's more established and understands and really understands business, then they but no worry. But you know, it is, even if like I've come up to 9, but but there's no maths, because I haven't told you how much. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I haven't told you what part of UK that is. Like, I haven't told you if there's London, if that's central London. That's like, what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter. Someone could have one flat
and
that could be worth more than 100 properties in another area.
So it doesn't matter me saying that. You're asking the wrong question. This is why when someone says, how many have you got? And then don't follow up with another question. Well, you're not asking the right questions. Are you trying to learn or not learn? You just want to know, how much I've got.
But okay, so this is another question I have for you then. Because we're talking about, you know, people asking, and then why is the property comic, like, why are you on social media? Like, what was your why in why you wanted to be on social media and talk about your journey in property?
This is going to be very interesting to you, actually, because so I started comedy. That was my thing, and when the video started on socials, that's when I was doing the skits and whatnot, and it, just going well, cool. Then maturing and just going into property, I kind of said to myself, you know what, this is only recent, because like, you didn't know I had 9. It's only till today when we spoke. Yeah, because I didn't show that. I never really showed that, because I was showing all that on my comedy page, and I had to learn. The people on my comedy page, they're there for comedy.
They're
not there for that.
Hey, listen, if you try,
they're not.
See the way the algorithms work.
Yeah.
If you start posting like your opinion on football, your engagement's going off the cliff.
They're not there for that. They're there for what they're there for. You know. And I started seeing other people, even during lockdown or whatnot, doing on socials, doing property. One of those people being you. I said, and no lie, I was so inspired by what you was doing, the numbers, the engagement. I saw me. I could relate to this. I'm not. I didn't tell you that, but it's true.
Literally, this is the first time. Mad plug.
No, I swear down. I haven't told him this. And I thought, this guy, and then when we had a phone call and he's like, yeah, I know you from comedy, I was like, nah, this is, and that, you're part of the reason why I said to myself, why not build a property page? Like, build a property page.
Do you know what? Like, and I think it mad goes full circle, because I only started my property page in lockdown.
Yeah, I remember
like,
you saying.
and it was mad new. Like, I started it because everybody else was like not at work. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I'm not going to work either, because no one else is. But actually, construction never stopped. But it was just like, it was a blessing. And it was also another thing that I'd been doing property for so long. Well, like similar sort of time frame, about 8 years, similar sort of journey. But because it's like, when you're in something, you don't necessarily know that it's something that's going to inspire or is great to other people. Yeah. Because I'm like, I buy a house, I sell a house, and that's how I make my money. Yeah. Same as some people go to work, they sell a computer, that's how they make their money. I was just, in my head, that was my job. Yeah. I just buy and sell houses. And then I speak to some people and they're like, oh, I'm interested, can I chat to you? And then people kept saying, oh, you need to like put yourself out there more, because even some of my friends, like, or friends of friends, like had no idea what I do, even though they've known me for years. They just see me in a tracksuit and think, oh, he might be up to no good, or because he's never at work and he's never in any formal clothes. But like some of the feedback that I've had has been like, is the reason I keep going with it, because like, it's not a money spinner for me, it's not whatever, but I think it's super important to actually be able to show people that like, look, someone that looks just like you, comes from just where you come from, is able to do this in property.
Yeah, and that's what inspired me. When I saw that, I said to myself, this is, I don't know what it done, but it just made me think this is possible. This person is inspiring. And I suppose I'm a bit spoiled because of the scene I'm in comedy, but not a lot of people, it's hard to inspire me because of the world of it. So to see that so quickly, I said,
And this is what, do you know what's so like, see, my friends know me as the old man who can't use computers. So they're hitting me up like, yo, how'd you grow your Instagram? And I was like, I posted the picture. I just posted it. I mean, I did a house, I sell a house, I post a picture, and you know what I mean? But it's grown since then, and now I've started to have conversations, and I think conversations like this are so important, because the stuff you touched on about, all that stuff you learned, like from your partner about saying like, okay, like managing a budget, like time constraints, like the importance of credit, all of that stuff is what you were allowed to use as like your kind of your toolbox to be able to actually deliver some of the refurbs and the projects that you've done. And I think having a support network and good friends, good family around you, like with me, my architect, known him for like 15 years. My accountant, 20 years, went to school together. Like solicitor, same sort of time frame. So you're there, you're working, you're building together, which is amazing. So your first property, what area was it in?
Luton. No, Dunstable. I keep saying that.
Okay, but it's for those that know the area will know. For those that don't, Luton's more. Okay, so it's a good commuter belt property then.
Yeah.
And you're from like?
I'm from West London.
Okay.
West London, Acton.
It's about hour and a half, 2 hours.
45 minutes, mate.
M1. You know what's so like? See when you're from South London, all you know is South London.
I've noticed that, South just knows South.
All South knows is South. As soon as I crossed the river, sat nav, Tom back in the day. We need that. We're not getting anywhere.
That. So
that's really manageable. I mean, that's pretty much like coming to South London sometimes because of traffic.
Exactly that. Because when my mum would travel up to South London sometimes, I'd get to Luton before and I'm well out of London, So I just realised that because it's a lot of motorways, isn't it? So it's just you just wing it up there and done. So that was the first one. We done it up ourselves. And
I've seen that even up to, cause obviously I've been following your page, and I can see the inner mechanic, because even up till now I see you trying to disconnect a bath and do a little.
I could do all of that, but I like learning that stuff. And the first one, this is what I said to myself. So the first project, I said to myself, because the budget was tight, so we spent all the money on the house, and we're like, oh, okay, well, how much to do it up? We don't know. We've got nothing to base the numbers on yet. So it's like I said to myself, why not I try to do it myself? And if I don't, we've got the money to do it anyways. So from that, I learned so much. The tiling done, plastering done, but I was like, let me try.
I'm gonna come do a mad review of what your sites right there. If I come and find like a tile stuck on with silicone, correct. The back button tiles and all looking smooth. Proper, okay.
So flooring, done the laminate, like it's just interesting to figure. And with YouTube, we just went on YouTube. I just look at a couple of videos, maybe 3-4 videos. I'll be like, cool, bang. But that's how I am, just from me being, like I said, mechanic and. Just
being more hands-on and being like practical.
I take the information and my memory kicks in better that way. So it worked out well for me. So we saved loads. We saved loads. It's a lot of my time, but it's a little bit of my money. The first one, and when we got it done, we had to figure out how to work with each other as well. The first one, there was so much arguing, Kazy. Oh my goodness, because we didn't know how to, you got to find the right rhythm, innit? And then I'm now realizing she likes certain things done that way, I like that, I work a certain, we didn't know that before. We're just being in a relationship. Now it's like, we're partners.
It's a transition between the relationship and the business.
And I had to understand it because we was beefing.
Because you can't have the same, you can't have your relationship head on in your business head because they're two different conversations.
Exactly. So it was just, Yeah, we was like, no, this is long. This can't work. This cannot work. But like, we had to kind of step back and realize it's the project that's doing
And then
this.
also you've got to be able to compartmentalize that. So once that day of work is done, go pay that home, because otherwise,
your whole relationship,
your whole day's done. You're still mad. You're still mad because someone spilled the paint.
Yeah. You're still mad, but you're not saying that anyway. You're huffing the whole. So like, I had to learn that, and once we mastered that, then it was like, okay, cool. Like,
you found a rhythm.
Because you have to. Literally, it's a different type of relationship. It's a whole different type. So yeah, we got that, and then we just from that we just got the money out. That doubled the house. Luckily, it took a while, a few years, but then we bought 2 more, and then just kept going like that. But it's just funny how the compound effect just kicks in. The first one is so important.
Yeah, I think the first one's important for so many reasons. Like, the first one's important because the time value of money. Like, particularly now when like interest rates are rock bottom, inflation's pretty high. Every day your money's in your account, it's losing value. Like, it's used, like, it's spending power. It doesn't go as far as it did the day before. So sometimes doing something now, even if it's not the perfect deal, you know, could be better. Obviously, if you can find a better deal and get used to, like you said, you were living on Rightmove, Zoopla, comps every day. Did you view a lot of properties before?
What?
You were just viewing.
It was.
But even if you don't, sometimes, you know, because I don't know, have you ever done courses?
No.
Because if you haven't really done courses, and maybe, like you said, you kind of knew from earlier on, you're more of an active learner. You learn by doing. You're fine to find like the information and find it yourself, rather than somebody spoon feed it to you. Sometimes doing that property is going to educate yourself way more than the whole course, and or at least you'll realize what you don't know. And then you go to an educator for a specific purpose, as opposed to something where they're teaching you a load of stuff that you already know, or stuff that you're maybe not ready to know yet.
It's funny you said that, because now I think about it, that's exactly what happened to me without me realizing. I learned so much on the first property without me realizing I did so much. Now I think about it, it was like, we just working out to figure out each other, working schedule of works. That I was all over the place the first one.
I was like, because I'd worked in offices before, and I've got like an economics background. I'm quite finance and very like anal with the way I've managed stuff. Like, my first projects, like, I thought like I was gonna be able to CC in the builder and just tell him what time to turn up, and like they were gonna be there, and do you know what I mean? Had that. Had like a crazy schedule of works, like the mad Venn diagram of this is gonna happen on this day. This is like, there wasn't even like 10 minutes in between.
That's
like,
crazy.
But then you realize from a practical sense, you know, there's like, everyone's got a plan till you get punched in the face. And I think that's kind of what it's like with a project as well. You have the mad plan how everything's gonna work super smooth. And then day one, either somebody's late, or you go to take the wallpaper down and the rest of the wall comes down with it.
What I done in the kitchen, I laid the floor down first, before painting, before plastering, before the kitchen, everything. I put the floor down first. I don't know what I was thinking.
But in your head, you just wanted to stay. I think, because a lot of people do this, they want to work far. Like, it happens, like, you know, when they say like working like smart or working hard versus like one or the other. And so, say for example, you're like, well, I've got the floor's on site. Why not put the floor down? But then, although it's down already, now you've got to cover the whole floor.
It didn't make
and then
sense.
to pay.
And I didn't cover it. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't cover it. It was ripped and all sorts. And then at the end, I ended up, I had to take it up, and then we tiled it. But it's just, you know,
it's a learning curve.
It's a learning curve. So that's what I learned from there. But it's so valuable, man. So valuable.
So moving forward, did you, obviously you say you didn't do any specific education, it came from experience. When you're now looking at a deal and you're like, so you've done your kind of comps, how are you costing your refurbs now? Because you're still doing an element of the work. You said your most recent one, you're going to do turnkey and just kind of handover. But how are you costing like and budgeting what you can spend?
Well, I suppose it's based on the experience that I've had. But I wouldn't just give it to a builder. I'd break it down and do individual tradesmen.
So you kind of do like, okay, so you prefer to project man, like,
I'll project
so you
manage,
PM individual trades.
So I'll just project manage, which is what I'm doing now actually. From
no, it's not. I've seen you with like with the tools, ripping the bath out. If you go head over to the property comic right now. Like, obviously today's date, I'm gonna get him to save it in the highlights. You're there pulling the bath out.
All right, so I've ripped out because I don't. It's easy to rip out something. It's probably different fitting it on.
It's the fun, but that's the funnest part.
That's the funnest part. So I can rip it out. Don't give me the price of I gotta take it out and then put this in. No, it will be done for you. Then you do your bit. Yeah. So kitchen, I know how to put in. I slapped in the kitchen. Well, halfway. Yeah. But the bathroom, I ripped all of that out. Now that guy has to come and fit that all in. I've got everything, the bath, everything. Now you just put it on. Don't be giving me these crazy prices for things that I just feel like I can do that. It's just I think,
which makes sense because like you have to look at how much money, because for every pound you spend somewhere, that's like the concept of like the alternative best foregone. Every time you spend a pound somewhere else, we got a limited amount of capital. That's a pound you can't spend doing potentially making you money elsewhere. So that makes sense. But at the same time, you're also gonna have to like, because you've got two journeys that are running parallel, like with the property and with the comedy, at a certain point in time, that time value of like your time is gonna, even if you can do it and you could save yourself £500 from the quote, if it takes you 8 hours,
of course.
How much is your hourly rate now? And how much could you make elsewhere? Or if you were just not even just making money directly from another field, but you're now could pivot into being a full-time property investor. And so if you go and spend time on Zoopla and Rightmove and you find another deal, then how do you value that?
That's where it's getting to now, where it's like my time, the value of my time is so crucial to me, you know, so it kind of makes sense. But I do understand, because some people say to me like, you've got free time, you don't have a 9 to 5, you know, and I do remember, comedy's been my 9 to 5 for a good few years before I was financially free, but it's like, I do remember having to, because my last job was, I was an Ocado driver. That was my last job. I handed my resignation. But having to time everything and get it right. I know it's difficult, and I understand. Yeah, you're free now. But it's just making it happen. Yeah, and it's just got easier on the way. It just got easier the more I got. I learned so much more. The more properties I was getting, and
you basically springboarded off your first property. You said was it 2 years later on you bought?
No, it was 4.
4 years after the first one.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you've been quite busy over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But that's a lot.
It
So you done, but that's how it goes. You get the bug. You also work out how it works. Work out what didn't work. Look at different areas, because your properties, they're not all in one area, right?
No, so it's Birmingham, Wolverhampton, Stevenage, Luton, and now Stoke.
And why each of those areas?
The deal. If the deal makes sense, I'm there for it.
Okay.
I didn't really want to. I like Midlands. I can afford it. Can't afford London. But the deal, as long as I like to be triple R. Some people say. So as long as the deal makes sense and I can do it up, but I buy it cash, and fix it up, and then leave 25% in and put my money out. As long as I can do that, I do not mind.
So you're deal focused as opposed to And how have you found? Because they're all single lets. You spoke about. How have you found the management of them? Have you given it over to management companies? You're self-managing.
Yeah. Okay, they've been fine.
They've been fine.
All of my tenants have been fine. There was one I had to stick it on like a few years ago, and he was just taking a mick, but. Forget, I'm not your average landlord. I tell you, I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not.
I think the balance is as well. Like if you have systems in place, like if you have, if you manage your rent well, you know exactly when it's due. So if anybody's rent is late, you're checking in with them. Like, is everything okay? I've noticed the payment hasn't come through. Like, what's going on? I think for a lot of people, they hear the word like financially free and associate financially free with no responsibility and no requirement to do anything. And I think as long as you have the systems in place to look after your portfolio, understand like where the pressure points are. So like having good tradesmen, how have you managed to find like good contractors to deal with?
It's taken a while, because I notice if my partner is talking to the tradesman, they seem to take the mick a bit more. I don't like that. So I more have to kind of talk to them and just try them out, test them out, see if I like the work. What I done as well it was less than a year. I used to be up here actually, a guy I know, he does properties, and I said, let me work with you, just purely so I can get the knowledge of what to do. and it was a good 6 months maybe, but it just helped me know the quality of the plasterer, the way to paint, how to put on the frames, the kind of level of kitchen, you know what I mean? All the little things I know to be able to then project manage and have a tradesman not take the mick.
Yeah.
To be able to say, nah, it's not meant to be at that, or nah,
that's it. Sometimes you haven't got to know how to do it better than them, but you've got to know how to do it right.
Yes.
And that's what I found a lot. Like from I wouldn't have a clue like how to install this steel beam, for example. But I know how it's supposed to be installed. And if I see you doing something, I know that.
Yeah. And that's what I needed to learn. That was the only reason I went and worked with the guy. I used to travel 2 hours to come down to South. All the time, Croydon, this place, but I'd done it to get that knowledge, and now I feel like I can project manage easy. I think that was so valuable because I said to myself, I know I want to be at a level where I'm project managing the tradesmen, and then at a level where I have my own team. Yeah, I could just say, next one's there, go. Do you know what I mean? But I have to sieve out the ones that are not there, not good, not what. Yeah,
because to be able to do that and to be able to do that, though, that's kind of the blessing of being able to create an element of self-employed or hands-off income. Because if you had to work your 9 to 5, you wouldn't have been able to go and, you don't have the spare time or the flexibility to take 6 months and to work pro bono with somebody else for experience, unless you save up a lot of money to be able to fully leave. So I think that's like the benefits and one of the pros of having like being self-employed in that space. So where, like, obviously you've really like grown exponentially in terms of the number of deals you've been doing over the last 3 years, effectively.
Yeah, now I'm doing.
Now you're doing regular, and you're doing them, and you're turning them over. Yeah. Like, where do you see yourself going with it? Like, have you got a goal? Is it financial? Is it number? Like, what's your goals?
So I'm all about cash flow right now, and it's monthly cash flow. I'm not building up the capital appreciation yet. I know obviously you was talking about the difference. I've heard you talk about the difference between both. I'm just getting that nice, huge, beautiful cash flow. I don't even know what number. I probably do have a number in my head, but a nice double figure, in the double figure, thousands I'm talking.
Okay, so for you, I don't know. I don't know. I can book Axel for cheap then. If he doing stuff for a tenner.
I felt like I had to, so
tens of thousands,
So once it's like that, then I'm gonna then focus on capital appreciation.
Because I think that's what's key about property as well. You have to know what your why is, what you want out of it, or you get lost chasing everything. Because also, as much as you spoke about doing deals in different geographical areas, there's a lot of similarities behind your deals. There's stuff that you can do the BRR method, which is buy, refurbish, rent and refinance, and you can work and get the majority of your money back out, and that's what's been your focus. And then also stuff that cash flows well, so a good yield. But a lot of people, when they get into property, like want everything, and they want everything now. And naturally, when you want everything, it's so much harder to find a deal that's going to satisfy you. 100%. Which is why it's good to actually know what you want. Because mine was the opposite. I was like, look, I don't really want to spend any more money. I'm bad with spending. So if, not that bad, but I'm just not good with budget, I think was the other way around to put it. But so I was like, I just want to build up this capital pot to be able to do bigger deals. And then 360 it, that in the long term, once I've done all those big deals, then I'll have cash flow. And both ways work exactly the same. You can build up that cash flow, so you've got so much time, so much cash flow coming in that you can start doing bigger deals. But it just depends. And I think you have to look at personal circumstance and what you want and when, and then find a strategy to match what your needs are.
So that was my focus, and just it's not just, I suppose, if a nice deal comes along, because it's not necessarily property, like I was investing in festivals and events and concerts and that, it's what makes sense, as long as the numbers make sense.
And sometimes, for me anyway, I don't know, some people are really just financial, but something has to excite me. If someone gives me an investment and it's I don't know, to invest in a gold bar, unless the numbers are crazy sexy, I'm like,
it's not really.
It's not, but the idea of festival or music or films or something, or a coffee shop,
so much,
something that I look at and I'm like, oh, this is good. I reckon, because I'm thinking, I'm trying to preempt the questions that are going to be in the comment section.
Okay.
So I'm thinking to myself, what people are going to ask is, you went from doing one deal over 4 years to maybe another 8 deals over another 3 years. And in terms of vamping up that activity, how did you source those deals? Was it Zoopla, Rightmove, auctions, sources?
Okay, cool. So Zoopla and Rightmove was me up into 2019 when I done my first auction. That was on Homes Under the Hammer. That was in Wolverhampton, and that was
as seen on BBC.
Yeah.
Got that in your bio.
Yeah.
I've seen on BBC. Yeah, I mean, so you know, the caption this might be 2-time BBC as seen.
So I done that one. That was a BRRR. Pulled on my money out, and since then I've done another one, and I think this one's the next one.
How did you find your auction? Because like, were you familiar? Did you get like?
I went to a few before, but I just got outpriced.
But I mean, even in terms of the process, like, did you get like an independent review of the legal pack? Did you?
No, so I used to love Homes and the Hammer.
I think we all like growing up. Sick Day. You know, that's like, that show is like one of the, I think apart from EastEnders or something, it's like the longest running show on BBC right now.
I know you've been on it as well. So I went on that, and I just loved it. So I knew, obviously, reading the legal pack, because we had like 5 on the table, but the order that they come in on the auction. So let's say there's 10, and you've got 3 of them that you like, and you've got one of them's at number 2, another one's at number 5, another one's at number 9. Yeah. You could be holding out for number 9 and you'd be outpriced, but the other 2 that was at
you missed the 2 and 3 that actually came at a good price, and then the number 9 went crazy.
And number 9 went crazy. So it's like, whichever one comes first, unless you've got a lot of money where you're trying to get all of them,
everything.
Whichever one comes first,
you have to go.
You have to go.
You know what, I used to have this theory. I don't know if it was just psychological. When before everything went online in COVID and you're going in person, I used to love when it was lot 1. I was like, I'm sure people are going to miss it. I love when it was lot 1. Because I know the other side is, everybody's still got money. But my thing was people are Kazy. They're trying to read the room. So let me get in early. When a good property like in my area came up in lot 1, I was happy.
You're happy,
Yeah, man.
So I never thought of that logic, but it sounds like you've been to loads of auctions.
I've bought quite a lot of auctions. I've been to quite a few. Sometimes they're just good. Even people that want to network and get into property, they're good places to go. Just to realize, and also understand the process is inspiring. If you want to be a rapper, try and get in a studio. If you want to be a property buyer or developer, go to auction. Kind of attract that energy.
I think I went to about 3 before we got that one. I was like, okay, cool. But just being around it, being submerged in it, just reading the room, seeing how it is, and then so from that I just kept going. But now I'm just all about BRRR, and I'm trying to do BRRR into HMOs. That's my next thing.
Nice. That's because that cash flow wise, you're gonna, do you know what I mean? Start to hit those numbers.
So I'm just focused on cash flow for now. Maybe not for long, but for now.
Are you thinking of sponsoring the show or something?
Yeah, we'll talk in it. We'll talk when the cameras are gone.
I appreciate having you on. I think I'm going to ask because the number 1 question I get asked, and I get asked it the age can be different. It could be I'm 15, I'm 16, 17, 18, but a teenager that wants to get into property, and they've always asked, do I have any hints or tips for them? What would be your go-to hint or tip for a young person that wants to get into property in the future?
My advice will be to get your credit in order. You have to get your credit, sort out your whole bank account, lower your expenses, get that all right, and your saving. Make sure you know how to save, what saving technique works for you. Once you got that in order, then you're eligible to talk to the right people, example, banks, lenders. You're in the right pond. So get that in order, and then you'll be the right person or the right candidate for the right conversations.
That's it. That's us. That's the end of episode 1, the Property by Kazy podcast. with Axel the Comedian,
AKA.
I was gonna do it. Look at him, where he's chomping. He's chomping to reband. AKA the Property Comic.
Yes.
His details are gonna be below in the link in the description if you want to check him out. He's got some great projects that he's working on. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Notifications on. If you've got any questions you want myself or Axel to answer, get us in the comments. Comments. And stay tuned because we've got another great episode coming next week.
Cheers.